What's up, everyone? We hope you've been well, and welcome to the Sunshine State Vikings editing studio. This is where the magic happens. This is where we get to put together the videos so that we can share our adventures with you. Now, we're here today at the studio because we want to put together a different type of video than we're used to. It's one that we're hoping is going to help a lot of people out when they go to plan for a trip along the Florida Adventure Trail. This video is bound to become very lengthy. We're wanting to make it as detailed as possible. We will probably end up making it into a 2 or 3-part video series. But in any of these videos, down in the description below, all of the topics will be listed out with timestamps next to them. Those will also be laid out along the timeline as chapters. Feel free to skip around in the video to find the information you're looking for. We welcome you to use these videos as a tool to plan your trip along the Florida Adventure Trail. Also, throughout the videos, we're going to be referencing different resources. We will do our best to put that information in the cards above as links, as well as down in the description. And if you're here and you do not yet know what the Florida Adventure Trail is, well, that is going to be our first topic, which is going to be researching the Florida Adventure Trail. Put simply, the Florida Adventure Trail is a 1,200-mile route that was recently put together and released in the state of Florida as an overlanding and adventure bike route, navigating you through all of Florida's best off-road and adventuring areas. We've recently just finished an 8-part video series with the intent of trying to inspire others to come and seek their own adventures along this route. Now, when we get into researching here, we're going to be checking out 3 places, the first of which is simply going to be FloridaAdventureTrail.com. So let's head there now and check it out. And so here we are at the homepage of FloridaAdventureTrail.com. This is a great place to start your research of the Florida Adventure Trail because it is the webpage that was created for the Florida Adventure Trail by Sunshine State Adventure Co. Up in the top right corner, you have some tabs to be able to explore, like the About tab. This is where you can find some information about why the trail was created, what the money for the trail goes to do in our community, and a little bit more information about the Florida Adventure Trail itself, like that it is a 1,200-mile overland and adventure bike route through the best parts of Florida. The route is 60-ish% unpaved roads with scenic paved roads connecting them together. I would say that that is a true statement. You can also check out the shop tab up in the top right. There is some official merch available for the Florida Adventure Trail, kind of like the official adventure sticker here. But this is where you can go to select to go in to buy the Florida Adventure Trail. But this is where you can get your first overview of what all the 1,200-mile route consists of. This is an overview of the route. It has all of these waypoints, like places to camp, places to stop, food suggestions, gas stops. This is where you can go to purchase the Florida Adventure Trail GPX folder for $20. But also on this webpage, you can check out our next 2 resources that we want to guide you to. The first one is going to be the Facebook icon in the top right corner, and that is going to bring you to the Florida Adventure Trail Facebook group. It is a private group, and it is just a little over 6,000 members, but this is the official Facebook group created by Sunshine State Adventure Co. There's a small questionnaire to enter the group. It's basically just a stopgap to make sure that you're actually wanting to join this group. But this is where you can find a ton of good information. You can see people's rigs and the way they have their stuff set up. You can see conditions about the trail. You can see people's experiences on the trail. People will often share their YouTube videos that they've created here with this Facebook group. You could check out people's adventure bike setups. There's questions and answers, and there's just a ton of information here on the Facebook group. You also have from time to time John Berkmeyer, the creator of the trail with Sunshine State Adventure Co. He will post information about the trail. Like this one here is welcoming new members new members to the F.A.T group. Just a lot of good information here. And this is one of the inspirations for why we wanted to make the video, is because we have seen a ton of questions be asked in this Facebook group, and we wanted to try to help out answering those questions with this video. Back at the webpage for Florida Adventure Trail, we can head over to our next good resource, which is going to be the YouTube icon. That is going to take us over to the Sunshine State Adventure Co. YouTube page. And keep in mind, this does have more than just the Florida Adventure Trail on it. But if you head to the playlist sections, you can find the Friends on the F.A.T. And what John Berkmeyer with Sunshine State Adventure Co. has done is all of those people sharing videos on the Facebook group and just sharing their experiences along the Florida Adventure Trail. He has compiled them here in this playlist on his YouTube channel. There are 54 videos currently. You can find our videos here, our 8-part series that we put together, our friends from the Overlandaroos, and our friends at Baptism Overland have created video series here. Just a ton of other channels that have been putting together videos. A lot of these videos have tons of good information, local information about places to check out, stop, and explore, and their experiences on the route. Just a great resource to check out. So those are 3 great resources for researching whether or not you want to come out and tackle the 1,200-mile Florida Adventure Trail. Definitely utilize those resources, and say now you're at the point, you've done your research, you're all in, you want to come out and create your own experiences along the trail. Well, the next step and the next topic that we're going to talk about is going to the Florida Adventure Trail web store and purchasing our Florida Adventure Trail GPX file folder. So let's head back to the website and get our route files. Starting back at the homepage of FloridaAdventureTrail.com, we can come over to the top right and select the Shop tab, where we can then click into the Florida Adventure Trail here. Like I mentioned earlier, this is for purchasing the Florida Adventure Trail GPX folder for $20. When we do this, we're going to need to enter in an email. It's important to use a useful email because this line here states, as the route gets updated, an updated file will be sent to the email that is connected to your order. You're going to want to be able to keep an eye out for those updates. The next thing you're going to want to check out is this disclaimer. This basically states that you are responsible or liable for any damage, any loss, or any other such issues you may encounter. This file is just a plotted route through these areas that will guide you along what is being called the Florida Adventure Trail. Everything else associated with running it, your safety, the safety of your equipment, all of that is on you, and you understand that risk. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to purchase this file now. We're going to add it to cart. The cart will pop up to the side. We're going to go view the cart. We can see the file here for $20. There is a promo code line here, and we welcome you to use Vikings20. That's going to save you 20% on the route, and it'll knock $4 off, making the total now $16. We set this code up so that we do not get anything out of this. This is solely for you, our viewers. And if you want to help support us, the only thing we ask is that you like this video and consider subscribing. So we're going to now continue on with purchasing this. We're going to use Apple Pay to make this simple for us. Now that we've made the purchase, it is asking us to choose a state. We're going to select Florida and place the order. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Now that we have successfully purchased the route, we can see our webpage receipt here. It says that we will receive a confirmation email soon, and we have now an order number. Here on this website receipts, there is a download icon. We don't have to wait for our email. We can go ahead and now download the route straight from the website here. And that will now go into our webpage downloads folder. Awesome. We've now successfully downloaded the Florida Adventure Trail GPX folder, and we've been able to download it from the website itself. Let's go ahead and check out what it is that we received from our purchase. Looking now at our desktop, this is the folder that was downloaded from the Florida Adventure Trail web store. But before I show you that, I wanted to show you this emailed receipt. It's important to note that it says links are valid for 30 days, but for those 30 days, we can always come back to this email and re-download the files if we need to. So it's going to be a good idea to just go ahead and get the downloads taken care of before you lose that opportunity. Now coming back to the desktop, we can click into our Florida Adventure Trail folder. And once that's open, we can see that there are 4 files contained. You have the Florida Adventure Trail GPX file and the Florida Adventure Trail KML file. Those 2 files are the Florida Adventure Trail in the most common format wanted by whatever GPS software or GPS device that you're going to import the trail into. The next thing you have is a Florida State Parks Camping and Cabins Guide. This is just a nice, simple brochure about the Florida State Parks and places to explore along the way. And then the last thing here is a very important document. It is the README first of the Florida Adventure Trail. Now, we're not going to open up the README to cover its information. Just know that that's a 6-page document, and a lot of hard work went into it to provide a detailed basic layout of everything that you need to know in order to run the Florida Adventure Trail. And yes, the information contained within that document and what's going to be provided in this video is going to have some overlap. The intention of this video is to not cover the README's information. It's to go alongside it to provide you our insight as Florida locals who have run the Florida Adventure Trail with what we have learned should very much be considered while you're planning your trip on the Florida Adventure Trail. So now that we're here, we've purchased our document and we have downloaded our files. We now need to get that Florida Adventure Trail file into whatever map app or GPS device that we're wanting to use to navigate our way on the route. Now, the Florida Adventure Trail was created in Gaia GPS. On the website, they recommend to use Gaia GPS, and we have always personally used Gaia GPS for all of our adventures. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you how to get your Florida Adventure Trail GPX files into a free Gaia GPS account so that you can take a look at the route now in a very easy way. So let's take a look at that now. Looking now at the homepage of Gaia GPS, we can see right away that we can sign up. It's free, or we can log in with an existing account. Like I said, we're going to show you how to sign up for a free account and import the route into that. So we made a mock account for this. And then we're just going to use just a basic strong password. And here we are. Just like that, we now have a free account with Gaia GPS. We can now click and drag, move around the map, zoom in and out, and check out various things on what is now essentially just a blank, basic layered map. The difference between a paid version and a free version is going to be this layers tab. It's going to be how many maps are available to you and how many you can select at a time to overlay together and basically make whatever kind of custom map it is that you're looking to have for whatever activity it is you're wanting to do. Guy's just kind of been nicely categorizing certain things. So, like, it's pretty convenient having this overlanding tab. It's got a couple of maps here that are going to be ideal for overlanding. So, now that we have our map and we have our route, the next thing we need to do is get our route into the map here. So, we're going to look for import data over here on the left-hand side in the tabs. We're going to select that and click select files. Now we have that folder on our desktop. So here it is, the Florida Adventure Trail. We can click into that. And now you can see we can only select the KML file or the GPX file. Like I said, these are the two most common formats of GPS routes like this. GPX file is probably the most common. So that's the one that we're going to use. We're going to go ahead and click that now. And it's going to pull up a prompt here saying that it's a large file import and that it contains 381 items. We're going to want to select both waypoints and tracks. There's 255 waypoints and there's 126 track items. So now that we have those both selected, we can click imports and it'll start pulling that information in and start populating our map. And we're now looking at the Florida Adventure Trail here. We can see all of the items that are being imported right here to the left. And if you wanted to unselect any of these, you could at this point, but most likely you're going to want every single one of these. You can now save all 381 items, and it's going to start saving the imported items. And now that it's all saved, we can see the Florida Adventure Trail in its entirety here, and we can see all of those waypoints populating our map. Where that file now exists is going to be in the saved items. And you can see it's going to all be collected into a folder called the Florida Adventure Trail. And that's the basics of how to get your Florida Adventure Trail file imported into Gaia GPS. Again, we used a free account to demonstrate this, and you can certainly use this free account to plan out your trip along the Florida Adventure Trail. However, we do still recommend getting a paid version at some point before you set off on the trail. The differences were, again, the amount of map layers that are going to be available to you and the offline usage. That's going to be important because you're going to find that there's cell coverage along most of the route, but there are certainly areas where you're going to have limited cell coverage, and that's where that offline usage is going to be important. Now, there are tons of things that we can talk about with Gaia GPS, but that's a whole different video. We're going to have to leave that research to you on your own time. We're talking more specifics about the Florida Adventure Trail and how Gaia GPS fits into play with that. So we're going to cover a couple of other topics within the topic of map preparation. The first one is going to be a very common question that we see in the Florida Adventure Trail Facebook group, and that is, what do all of the colors mean? So let's head back to the map and I'll show you what the colors are and what they mean. And the very simple answer to that question is that the colors don't mean anything. As a function of Gaia GPS, when you go to sit down on a computer and you click route to click out a route along the map, or in the wild, you go to record a track of where you've been, Gaia GPS will select a different color for that track at random. I can demonstrate this for you here real quick. If I click route, I can click a line from here to here, and you will see that that line will be saved as a blue line. If I do it again, and I continue that line along 94 here, and I click from there to here, and I save that, you will now see that I have two separate lines recorded as two separate sections, one blue and one orange. So very simply, the colors don't mean anything. It's just how the map was built. And honestly, this is better that it was built like this. If it was created all at once as one giant routed out track, what you would have is a solid colored Florida Adventure Trail that if you went to click it
it would simply tell you that it's about 1,200 miles long. Where if I click each of these different sections, you can see that this one here in red is 17.6 miles. This one here is 4.63 miles. And where that's going to be beneficial for you is if you're planning to run from here to here and you want to see how far of a distance that is, well, you would just simply click on each of the small little sections and add up the amount of miles that section is to give you a total from point A to point B. And that's very useful when trying to plan things out while you're out running the Florida Adventure Trail.
And that's the very simple explanation as to why the Florida Adventure Trail was created with a bunch of little sections that are all different colors. The other thing you might notice if you're clicking around on those sections is that each one has its own individual title. You may find one section that's, say, called F.A.T. Line 7. You may find another section that's called Connector 19. All of those individual titles for those sections is another convenience that's going to roll us into the next topic of keeping our Florida Adventure Trail file up to date. Now, when we purchased the route just a little while ago, we should have received the most current route file available. We also used an email that we can keep an eye on for updates as they're made. Now, updates to the route are made when there are trail closures that are reported, say there's a better way to do a certain section, or just adding waypoints. But every so often an update comes out to the Florida Adventure Trail, and we're going to need to update our route that is now imported into our Gaia GPS account. This is going to be important also because we have bought this route now. We may do months of planning, and when we actually go to set out on the Florida Adventure Trail, we're going to want to have the most updated route because we may run into one of those trail closures that update took care of. So say you missed your email, that information, the updated route files, is also put in another place that we can go and access at any time and check on before we run the Florida Adventure Trail. So let me show you how to check to see if you have the most current updated file and how the updating process even looks like.
For this, we're going to want to head back to floridaadventuretrail.com, where we can then navigate up into the top right corner to the Facebook link to take us to the Florida Adventure Trail Facebook group. In the Facebook group here, we'll see some tabs up at the top: discussion, featured, reels, members, media, and files. If we click on the files tab, we will see some F.A.T. update files here. We can click into one of these and it'll take us to the post that was created for updating the route. And we can now click the PDF here to download it, where we can then take a look at the PDF. This is what an update PDF will look like for the Florida Adventure Trail. Now, we can see that there are two here. We have here updates as of 11/12/22. If you downloaded your file after 11/12/2022, you don't need any of these. These are going to be for update 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And then just above it, you can see the second update stacked on top of it, where it says, if you download your file after 11/22/2022, you don't need any of these. And that's going to be for these updates here, number 4 and 5. And the way this is going to work is that each of these updates is going to provide instructions. Like, let's take update number 5 here. It says there is a closed gate in Tate's Hell that has created an issue for connecting into Apalachicola National Forest. You will need to delete the red section pictured below labeled F.A.T. Line Road, then add GPX file Tate's to ANF from the folder. So the folder that they're talking about is listed here in the update. It is this Dropbox link here, where we can open that and we can take a look at those GPX files. So we can see that that one that it was referencing was Tate's to ANF. We would download that and import that back into Gaia GPS after we had found the route and deleted the one that it asked us to. And to do that, we would go into the saved items here, click into the Florida Adventure Trail, and select the items tab here, where we can individually see every single section of the route. It is a little easier if you say filter them by routes, take the waypoints out of there. You can see all of the individualized sections and their names. So you would find the one that it's listing, you would click it, and you would delete it. And then you would import the individual route section from this Dropbox file here that it's asking you to then import into Gaia GPS. It is a little complicated, but honestly, this is a very good method of doing this because then everybody can update their route as they have it. You wouldn't want to have this be updated as delete all of your Florida Adventure Trail file and replace it with the updated one, because you may make changes and have things in that folder, and this is honestly just one of the best ways to do this. And it's good that it's a living, breathing thing like this so that those adjustments can be made.
And that is going to wrap it up for the map preparation topic. In this video, we have now discussed researching the Florida Adventure Trail, getting our Florida Adventure Trail files, importing those files into a GPS software like Gaia GPS, and how to prepare our maps so that we can begin planning a trip along the Florida Adventure Trail. And that's going to provide a nice stopping point for this video in the series, because the next topics that we're wanting to discuss are actually related to planning the trip along the Florida Adventure Trail. If you have topic suggestions or questions that you want us to incorporate in those videos, feel free to leave us a comment with those ideas or questions, and we will do our best to incorporate those into the videos so that way we can cover that information for you. And if those videos have already been made, still leave those topic suggestions or questions down in the comments. We will do our best to provide you the information you're looking for. And if you found the information in this video valuable, please give the video a like, consider subscribing, and as always, thank you for watching. Do more of what you love, and we hope to see you on the next one.
To learn more about us and find out ways to help support the adventures, visit our website, sunshinestatevikings.com. And to keep up with our adventures, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sunshine State Vikings.